Welcome to Other Worlds Oracles Live, a show where we build fictional worlds through designing fortune-telling cards. I'm Autumn, your host today, and I seek second chances from the cards. Today I'm joined by our lovely studio audience. Say hi, lovely studio audience.
Hi, lovely studio audience.
So, for the listeners at home, we are doing a live episode today. We are not just having one guest, but multiple. And we're going to bring everybody in on this process of making a card as a group. And we're doing this at a lovely place called Manyworld. Manyworld is a community third space and general community resource run by the community and built around what those needs are as they dynamically come up. And it is both a physical location and also just kind of a community of people who are knowing each other and getting to build things together. And so I think it's a really nice space to be able to do this with. And I feel very thankful for them being willing to open up to having me here.
To think of it as like a maker space for not for producing things, but for producing community and culture.
Yeah.
It's a maker space for culture.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, it's almost as if in the making of things, we also do that.
Mm-hmm.
We build the culture through the things that we make, from the rain barrel outside, which is very full.
Yeah, I'm so surprised.
To just the tool library and everything amazing that's going on here. So I'm really excited to see where this all goes for everybody. So we're going to do a sound bath, and I'm going to pick a pitch to hum, and everyone else is going to pick either the same note or a different note, which I guess are the only two options. And so we'll do that, and then once each of us run out of breath, they'll start the next step, which is to sing a letter in manyworld, MANYWORL or D. And after you run out of breath that time, pick a syllable from manyworld. And then once you're out of breath, just wait for everybody else to run out of breath. Okay, cool. Ready?
This time I'm not going to match anyone's pitch. And then I did exactly that. And I was like, oh, I can't.
It's hard not
I need to change.
You gotta be more contrarian.
I know.
just like pick a tritone.
The devil.
Yeah, this is as good a time as any to let the audience know this is our second go in this recording. I got about a third of the way through and realized that I did not press record. You know, minor details. So
Experience is what matters.
Experience is what
I feel like everyone who makes a podcast has that experience at some point where you're just like, oh no.
See, the problem is I did a whole episode like this once, and I had only my half, and I'm like, this is the least interesting half. Not quite what I was hoping for, but I am curious to see what comes up now that we have a different set of minds and cards and all sorts of things. So we'll see how this goes. All right. So last time we had our lovely guests put in their favorites of the clear and red beads and put it into this little cup. And we're going to see where that takes us. But in the meantime, let's explain how the rest of this card is going to get made. The way this is going to work is that we are going to design a card similar to the ones in a tarot or oracle deck with 3 main characteristics: a setting, a main character called the Arcana, and some kind of thing that's the Arcana is interacting with called the symbol. We will draw cards with prompts and assign them to each characteristic, giving us a direction to start in. From there, we will build on each concept until we have fleshed out a story combining all 3 elements. We will then determine what the card will look like and what its meanings could be. Ready to get started?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Woohoo.
Yay.
Alrighty. So let's see what the first card is. Exploration. It has a little Mars rover on it. What are we thinking? Setting, Arcana, or symbol?
Thinking either setting or symbol.
Like the last time, I'm wondering, like, what does it mean when it is when it's an Arcana? But it doesn't quite feel right to me right now to stick it in Arcana there.
Yeah, I'm not really getting that vibe either.
I think setting just feels really natural for it, and it feels like the place to put it.
I like that, yeah.
Yeah, let's do it. On to the next one. Hallucination.
Hallucination. Yeah.
Is that going to be the symbol or the Arcana?
I like the idea of a hallucination as a symbol. Like, yeah, just something about like I don't know if we'll define it as something that's contained, but like something that is a part of the space, but not the overall picture.
Not the setting, yeah. Yeah.
I mean, we've already picked the setting, but yeah, I'm curious what it looks like for hallucination to be a symbol.
Yeah, I like that too.
Interesting, the symbol.
Yeah.
I don't know if we've ever done the Arcana last.
Oh.
Oh,
Heart.
wow. Cool.
So we have a setting of exploration, an Arcana, heart, and a symbol of hallucination.
Yeah, I like that with hallucination being the symbol too, like just the very nature of it, you don't really know what is and is not real, and it's so up to like your perception and your determination almost of like deciding whether or not it's real. So
What do we think a setting looks like of exploration? Do you get any imagery in mind?
definitely a sense of like being in an unknown place and having almost like heightened senses to just like take in whatever is around, maybe a little bit in like a survival sense, but also like potentially in a sense of wonder, to just be like, wow, what is this place?
Yeah. I feel like there's a piece of exploration that is almost a intentional lostness.
Mm-hmm.
Like something that comes to mind is like a hedge maze or a labyrinth, but not the claustrophobia of like the labyrinth, but the willingly getting lost in it for the curiosity of like what is around the corner, like not being able to know what's around the corner, while simultaneously like knowing that there's more than what you see and that you can move. Like a picture that comes to mind is like characters in a maze, but from a view, like as the viewer of the card, being able to see that it extends, maybe infinitely, with like curiosities all around.
Yeah. So you're thinking like, do you picture like a maze or do you picture like a vast horizon?
Both, right?
Okay.
Yeah, it's like we can see something maze-like.
Okay.
Maybe not as like clean as like a hedge maze, but we can see, we're like looking over that, and we can also see like that it spreads.
Okay.
Maybe almost in an infinite direction. It's something that's like that could feel like a forest that is explorable, but at the same time, there's some amount of structure. I mean, it's like That's my Dixit take on it.
Nice. Yeah, I was also thinking like a forest setting, and something that came to mind for me as well is a sense of like when I'm in the forest and I encounter a plant or a creature that's like new to me, and I don't yet have kind of like an intellectual understanding of who they are, and I'm like not trying to name them or like understand necessarily all of the inner workings, but I'm just like perceiving and like taking in, and I'm just like, whoa, this is super cool, like who are you? And I kind of get that sense in a forest and just kind of like encountering new situations where not necessarily like intellectually knowing what's going on, but just kind of like being receptive to the curiosity of it.
Another image that comes to mind for the concept maybe, but less for the image, is that the scenes of like Harry Potter, Hogwarts style, like moving staircases, right?
Yes.
Things going upside down. Fuck J.K. Rowling, but just gotta make sure to do.
But that was a cool idea.
But that image is really cool, and it also evokes like Escher.
I was gonna say like it's very Escher.
Yeah.
Space makes no sense.
Yeah. I'm curious about like, you never see that Escher image in natural setting as much.
Right.
Although I suppose like, there's some of that in Escher, but like, I'm imagining now, like what is a forest that has that like shifted perspective and movement look like? What would a garden path and like, a forest path that is misshapen and like kind of all over the place.
Okay, that's really cool. Good luck to whoever draws this. Just do an Escher, it's fine.
I wonder how this might tie into our hallucination.
Do you want to go with that? Do you want to see what would it mean?
Yeah, I'd love to go with that as our setting.
What would the hallucination mean in this? Am I hearing correctly that they're like, maybe we haven't gotten to the Arcana yet, but like some people are going through this wood, this like weird shifting.
Yeah, I imagine so. I imagine it'd be limited people, right? Like there's something about exploration that has a sense of not necessarily solitariness, but but unfamiliarity. I feel like if you have a lot of characters that were all that seem to look the same, right? Like they'd be encountering things in there that they already know.
Yeah.
Maybe like a band of people or a couple people, if that's the character. Could be anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm kind of feeling like maybe the movement and intersection of all of these possible paths and this kind of like maze-like experience might have some like hallucinogenic experience with it too, where you're like, oh, maybe there's a path that you see, but it like looks like it leads somewhere, but it like once you follow it, it's like totally different than what you thought, or something like that.
Yeah. So like the shaping of the space also shapes your mind to some sense, in some sense.
Yeah.
Have you ever played Monument Valley?
I haven't, no.
It has that like kind of Escher like perspective shifting.
Yeah.
Have you played it?
I haven't played it, but I've seen like the concept art for it.
Yeah.
It's really beautiful.
Yeah, that comes to mind as well in terms of like trippiness of that space. It also evokes like an idea of seeking something, right? And the concept of seeking hallucination is really interesting to me. Right, like if we're seeking a hallucination, what does that mean? Because usually it's something that's thrust upon you.
Right,
it's like,
right.
Not necessarily choiceful.
What if like the hallucination is the straight path? Like you're in this world where nothing is forward in a like even path.
Yeah.
Straightness
like,
is a hallucination.
Yes. Don't I know it?
Yeah, I can imagine like in like the center of the image,
Sure.
like some kind of focal point, we see like a horizon that some path is going towards.
Yeah.
But, horizons are hallucinations too.
Yeah.
The horizon is this idea that there's like this ending point, but it's just because of the curvature,
Right.
like that's all we can see.
Right.
And that is an illusion.
Yeah.
Right? The idea that we can see where the path goes.
Yeah.
Just because the path is straight, like there's the idea that you can go somewhere on it, but you have no idea what happens on the other right side of the horizon.
And so you have to explore.
Yeah, and so I can imagine like that being some kind of like carved out space in the middle that perhaps a character is searching for, but the actual world, quote unquote, real world that they are existing in the present as they're in that exploration is the unpredictable and the strange, surreality of the real world, of the actual world.
Yeah, and I enjoy the idea of like with the horizon being part of hallucination, like still the choicefulness of like moving toward it, even though you might have an awareness that like it's part of a hallucination, and you're like, this is still part of the path and the vision, and by the time I get there it's going to be totally changed, but like I'm still moving toward it. And it's almost like you're working with like hallucination as the symbol or as the object that you're like shaping it in some way, I guess.
Like in the act of going towards it, you are changing it as well as it's changing around you, or what do you mean?
More that you're like choosing to have an active relationship with it, because like maybe there's a part of you that understands that it's like that experience is a hallucination, but like you're just like in it, and you're like, this I still see like the horizon over there. I see these paths changing. I'm not going to disengage and like be like, oh, it's just a hallucination, I can't do anything, whatever. It's like, no, I'm going to follow the paths and I'm going to move forward and work with it in that way.
Something that I see from that concept is like, I imagine a character moving down this straight path towards the horizon in the center somehow, but as they are moving, as they are walking, like parts of their body are disappearing from this space, and like they're actually like simultaneously stepping into these like other places, right? So I imagine like
a cubist kind of thing,
right? Like so like imagine a character taking a step forward, but they're like as they like put their foot on the ground, their leg disappears and it's like over there now.
It's like a portal.
Everything's a portal, and so their body parts are just like breaking up and like showing up in different places, and that is like the attempt, right? Like and like going towards this hallucination.
Yeah.
Like you can't really take a straight path forward,
right?
And if you choose to follow that, you will end up on all these other places.
Yeah. Love that imagery.
What does the heart mean in this? Heart obviously has a lot of different meanings, from a muscle to a center of affection and care, but also things like determination and passion.
Commitment and devotion also come to mind here. Like when you talk about, choosing to go towards the hallucination, that requires like a sense of resolve, courage even. You can see the head and the gaze focus towards this horizon. Christina's World style, right? Like the painting. So you know where they're looking, but in the process of like following that, they're breaking apart.
Yeah, I kind of see it as like what you were describing, with almost like the disembodiment or the dismemberment that can happen through the process of trying to follow the hallucination. Like maybe the heart is a piece of the body that like the awareness kind of like stays central into, like maybe the arm goes over here or the leg goes over there, but like the heart stays within itself.
So it's like the core.
Yeah.
You said it could be like multiple people. Would the character be the band of people? Would it be one person, a pair?
I was kind of imagining a single entity, but I could also imagine multiple.
I think I see single more strongly too, especially after this description. Yeah.
How fun and flirty would it be if two people were holding hands from different sides of it?
From different places.
Oh my god, imagine meeting someone in this hallucination and being like, whoa, you're here! I thought I was the only one.
Well, I mean, maybe there's only one person going down the path.
Sure.
But other characters are in other places. Wow. Like, imagine the hand holding of this character, of this heart character, happening as they move, and their hands are just like over there, and there's like maybe there's even a full figure, walking off towards their own hallucination.
I love this, and you're like walking, and suddenly a hand appears next to you, and you're like, oh, I'm gonna grab this hand now. Right? Hold this hand for a while.
I mean, it looks like that the fact that like we're all, even if we like think we're aligned, like we all have our own stories and our paths and our goals pointing that might be pointing in different directions, but we still encounter each other through that.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
That's really cool. Well, I guess I'm wondering then if we want to bring in the wild card.
I'm scared. Let's do it.
So let's see. So we have an optimistic one. I'm trying to kind of figure out here maybe some of the meaning of the card, and then we can kind of get to the visual metaphorization of this. So what do you think could be some themes of this card?
I think a lot of them have come up already.
I see there's a tension that's happening, right, in the descriptions that we've made. There's all these contrasts. The contrast between like the straight path and the like deconstructed world almost, or like unimaginable world, right? And then also the concept or the contrast between the character's path and their relations' separate path, and the people that they may be connected to.
Well, I keep wondering, like, when I think of hallucination, I think of something that departs from reality, whatever that means. And if your reality is complicated and confusing and contorted, and you see the straight path, maybe you just want things to be simple, to be straightforward, and like looking forward towards this horizon that like doesn't actually exist. But at the same time, something you do know for sure is that you're holding someone else's hand.
I've been trying to think about what does it mean. Like, I think we're talking a little bit about like the illusory nature and the fantasy nature of like the goals and the paths. I've been trying to figure out like what does it mean for that to be like a hallucination,
right?
And when I think about like the kind of holding hands, the holding of the hands is happening like in reality, but it's not happening in this like path towards hallucination. And I'm seeing like what if like a complete body was at the end of the path.
Oh, okay.
And that complete body is the hallucination. The idea that you can be a single complete thing. And the character is going towards that because they're trying to piece all of themselves back together.
Right.
And it's a hallucination because maybe that's not the reality, maybe that's not the world. Nothing in this reality, in this image, is actually like formed in that neat, complete package way. And so to think like, you're already holding the hand of someone that you care about, say, but you're walking that way to try to find them, right? Like they're over there, right? And you're over there. You're like waving my hands wildly, like you're in every direction. Your body is separate. Your loved ones are separate, and they pull you in all these directions, and yet you still move towards seeking something that is like complete as a fiction. Like that is the fiction, that is a hallucination, that there could be like something. It also makes me think about like, the notion of the nuclear family. These perfect like forms of like community units.
Or was it Aristotle who was the one who said that like people were born with like another person on their back and they're looking to complete themselves in that way? And it's like, I don't
One of those guys.
One of those guys. Something that came up for me with what you just said is like the idea of moving towards something because you believe that there's like an end point or like almost like a completion that you want to reach. And almost like in this experience you are never going to reach that point. And so finding the balance between deciding to still continue on despite potentially never reaching a like satisfying completion point for yourself, whatever that means, and still being like, what else am I going to do here but like follow these paths because like that's what exists, and I'm just going to encounter things along the way. And it's never going to be complete in the way that I think it is, but like it just is. So
you were also talking before this about the idea of something is at hand. I forget how you phrased it.
Yeah. I was referencing in the Bible, I practice Christianity, but in the Bible, the New Testament, and it's also been a long time since I've read this, but in the New Testament, Jesus often, when he's teaching large crowds of people or like reminding people like other church officials or whatever, he says like, I tell you the truth, the kingdom of the Lord is at hand. And how we were just like talking about this, it came up in conversation right before we started recording this podcast. The way that I was often taught that as a kid is like this idea that Jesus is almost like threatening that like the second coming is going to happen soon, like you got to be ready, or at least that's how it was taught to me. And how I understand it now is the kingdom of God or whatever divine experience, universality is like, it is at your fingertips. It is in your hand. It is like the world that you're creating, and you have agency and choice and like make it basically. So I like to believe that's maybe what Jesus was trying to say. And then, the church people just were like, oh yeah, we gotta whatever, but
marketing.
Yeah. And so I do see how that connects to this too, where it's like almost like you are creating an experience for yourself by like choosing it.
Well, I wonder, like we talked about the focus of the characters, like gaze towards the horizon as like one version of this. Just changing that subtly, right? Like not as necessarily as a suggestion, but you just think about like if this character was, instead of looking towards the horizon, like, was still walking towards the horizon, but decided to look away. Right? Decided to look towards what is at hand, right? Like it literally like whose hand they're holding. Rather than looking towards the horizon. Like what would that mean, right?
And that is a cool visual too.
Yeah. I don't know if you could have both of those, like maybe you could see them turning.
Yeah, maybe like their head is turned toward where the hands are, but their body is faced towards their like heart is faced towards the horizon.
Right.
What if we had for the card, like the art on the card, what if we had, those like holographic bookmarks? What if we had one of those where it's like sometimes the character is looking to their horizon and then sometimes they're looking
That'd be cool. I guess in Cubism, they kind of like that's kind of what's happening.
That's true.
Like you get to see the shifts in where they're looking. It almost like shows multiple like points in time. Something about that feels like it's cool because like one of the things we're talking about, and I don't know if this is like what this card is about, focused on. I mean, it feels like there's many things, but it could be about that choice to start exploring what is actually here rather than like moving towards a fantasy essentially.
Like instead of waiting for whatever is at I have no idea if it's going to be there or not.
Because the thing about like a hallucination, right? Another thing I was thinking about is the concept of mirage. At the end of like it just kind of keeps drawing you towards the horizon because that's like just where the heat waves are like are visible. But that doesn't exist.
Maybe even in like a fatal way. Like you think like with the concept of a mirage, like you think there's water in the distance and then you just keep moving toward it. It's
Meanwhile, you're holding the hand.
Like you had what you needed the whole time.
Yeah. I'm clutching my heart right now.
There's something so simple about the
Yeah.
idea that it's complete at the end there.
Yeah.
And there's something so messy about the
The
Escher-esque, whatever.
Yeah.
But that is the reality. The actual reality is
Complicated.
Yeah, complications.
I think that's one of the themes is complexity.
Mhm.
And then maybe choice or like choosing the present or conflict between those choices.
Yeah, I mean, there's that. I don't know what the term for this would be, but that the choice to kind of leave the ideal and step into the material.
Yeah.
I guess. Maybe that's
Yeah.
like something like that, right?
Yeah.
Because the material world is complex and it's messy, and you can't organize it neatly. But I mean, that's what religion is attempting to do. That's what ideology attempts to do. Dogmatism attempts to tell you a simple story that you can kind of like go into. And in some ways, when you do that, you are perhaps more solitary because then you're pursuing something that's just kind of like in your head.
Yeah. In my experience of like moving away from the organized religion I grew up in, like there was so much confusion at first of like, but like how, okay, give me a new one. Like, what do I do now? Yeah, like, and it feels so confusing because like, well, everything was set out for me and I knew what to do. And like, how do I make this world for myself suddenly from scratch? It's like a pre-made character in a video game versus you have to go and make all the little changes to the character to make it your own. And it's yours, but it takes a lot of time and a lot of work.
Right. Yeah, like one of the things that I'm wondering about is someone looking at this card, like, without a full-on like essay about it, like how they interpret it may also point to like where they are in their understanding. Like open-endedness is nice, but like you could see, I could even see myself like looking at it at some point in my life and being like, oh yeah, this person just needs to gather up all their shit from like all these other portals and like get into their body so they can just like get to the horizon because that's where the beauty is. But now I see it as like, wait, this person needs to like let go of this idealism, this like simple like concept, and just like embrace that what is beautiful for them may be all over the place here, and that's like and that's what's actually available to them right now. It's not over there. It's like right here. The here-ness of it.
Yeah, I also appreciate that open-endedness in terms of like interpretation of the imagery. I often find myself kind of in this like ongoing emergent balance of like, maybe living in more of a like grounded material sense of the world, and then also at other times living in more of like a dream-like visionary state where I'm like, these are the things that I'm moving toward, or like vision that our community is moving toward, and how do we like take steps toward those things, and then also then swinging back on the pendulum toward like, this is the here and now, here's our material reality, and how can we be here. So I appreciate that this card feels like it encapsulates all of that depending on where you're at in that spectrum.
I also think like the way that it decomposes this person's body is like really interesting to me as someone who like does a lot of what's called parts work. I don't know if anybody's I think parts work is this idea that people are not just one thing. They are like made of lots of different kind of, maybe sometimes even competing motivations and ideas and ideals and all these things that they want for themselves. And sometimes it just takes figuring out how to help them all work together. And because there's something greater than the sum of its parts there. And I think that like the depiction of these parts as being separate from each other sounds scary at first, but also feels like very uncontained in a way that like whole compositions often are, as opposed to being a single thing. It's like this uncontainable, undescribable thing, because if you try to describe it, then it just reduces it to something less than it was.
Whew. Wow.
So if you got this card,
Be like, fuck. Oh no.
If you're giving this reading to somebody else, what would you tell them, do you think? What would you tell them it means?
Well, we talked about the open-endedness of it, and it might depend on who they are and what they're telling me now. I mean, because I guess if I got the card for myself, what I would think about right now in my life is about grounding in the messy reality, as we kind of mentioned earlier, and the reminder. It's a reminder, like, look for all your pieces, right? Like when you're focused on this like thing far away that doesn't even exist yet, you may forget that your pieces are all over the place. And your community is all over the place too. They're not necessarily there on the same path with you, and maybe if that is if you choose to continue going on that path, if your eyes are forward. I guess there's nothing wrong with that hallucination. Maybe all visions are hallucinations, right? Because they don't exist right now.
Right. Yeah.
They're all mirages. But your people are at your hands here. They're in all these other directions. And if you're solitary on that path while you're being pulled away from other people, and all that other stuff, then your organizing work is perhaps to bring them back,
right?
Or bring parts of yourself back onto that path, or pause from that movement for a while and go see where you came from and where you're moving and where your people are before you take that next step, because otherwise your foot's just going to go over there. It's not actually going to move.
You'll be walking the other way.
Your body's going to disappear.
That's really cool. I like that. But I also think like this is one of those cards where like if you get the inverted, it would be like so interesting to explore, because if you are being held back by people who like don't respect you, and you're like looking forward and you're like, I know there's something better out there. Like I can see this being like in an inverted way, being you can leave that behind and you can go towards what you see ahead of you. Like you said before, the pendulum swing, like it could be a lot of things.
Did you have any other? How would you read this card if you were reading it for someone?
I think I would kind of approach it as like asking them, like kind of framing it as with the pendulum kind of swing idea, and framing it as like, is there an area in your experience, whether that feels more like moving toward visions or allowing yourself space to dream, like that potential side of the pendulum, or more of a like grounded material presence sense, like in anywhere on that spectrum, is there a place where it feels like you are disconnected from those parts? And if so, is there a way where you can like reorient your gaze to include more of that into your experience to help create more of a connected sense to all of the parts that are going everywhere?
I feel like the united theme of both of those is that your heart needs to be in the same place. The core V needs to either like make a decision like, are you going to go that way and get the rest of you to come that way with you, or are you going to stay where you are right now and try to be present and make it what you need it to be?
And I kind of see it as like almost like a touchstone or like a field mark of like, where do you want to have your focus be right now? Like on the horizon, on the visions, and a potential future that will like never really come to completion in the way that you think, which is still like in a lot of ways okay to pursue? Or would you rather have your perception be more on like your material surroundings in the present? So for me it brings up the question of like, are you choosing the way that your perception is being drawn right now, and are you okay with that? Is that what
I see another thing I see. We've talked about the kinds of like figures that are around in this image. We're talking about kind of like bringing parts of yourself together, or at least like this character's like pieces. Now I'm imagining, what if the mirage on the horizon is like very clearly the same body?
Yeah.
You know, like this character is trying to move towards themselves.
Yeah.
But they're moving this way to get towards themselves instead of, you know, where all their body parts are.
Right.
And they're looking for completeness out there rather than completeness right here in a way. They're falling apart in that way. And then if they're holding hands, like what if they're holding hands with parts of themselves as well? You know, like, or like they're holding hands with other figures that are also that same character. Like they are kind of they're both their body parts are both like separated, but also like versions of themselves are also in these other like places. And they could, you know, go through this portal or whatever, right? Like wherever their hand is going into over there. They could be going there towards their completeness,
for sure,
which is perhaps, you know, even more corporeal in the image than the mirage-y version of it at the distance. And that's a choice, you know. It's a valid choice too, to like move towards like this ideal of like completeness out there, or like, you know, just kind of witness or stay present to the messy thing that is here. And those are always choices that we're making as we choose to we choose, you know, one or the other, or both at the same time.
I think I would also say, like, allow yourself to meander and to swing back and forth along this pendulum, and to take the weird side portals that you may not think would lead anywhere, like they might actually lead to where you're trying to go, instead of like you think it's just straight in front of you on the horizon, but really allow yourself to be drawn in and distracted, and follow your curiosity and your whims, and let that be your path.
I like leaving it open to interpretation in that way, of having a lot of options where you can put yourself in, and you just need to figure out, like, okay, well, where are you right now? Where is all of you right now?
Where are your body parts?
Okay, so I think I'm starting to get a picture of the meaning here.
It's only been like
as much as I can, at least, because I feel like there's no way to like pin it down. Exactly. But what about the appearance? So are we thinking like there's like a straight path forward towards like kind of a hazy, idealized version of the person in the center, and then like all this kind of like Escher-esque forest stuff on the side with body parts coming in and out of different spots, and like a holding hand. Like I can see how this could become a little upsetting.
The artistic imagery of this is like, how is this gonna like convey all the things that we've just talked about? I don't know.
Well, we're also describing it through an audio medium, so it can be whatever we want it to be in the end. But like, is there anything you would like be certain you want to be included in that?
Yeah, what else do you see? I feel like I'm starting to form like a pretty like a more clear picture. But I don't want it to be you know, just my picture of it. And I wonder if there's additional things that you would change from my descriptions, or.
I really appreciated your description so far, and I'm curious if this is also like alive in your vision. But I imagine, that there's like kind of like a straight path, straight and narrow. Just kidding. A straight path that kind of like leads to almost like a small, not like a pinprick, but like a small hole in the landscape that like shows like a beautiful horizon, and there's like a shadow of a figure there that's like maybe some like complete, I'm doing air quotes, like some complete version of yourself, and you like kind of think that you're moving toward that, but then like your character is like kind of at the bottom of the card and is like holding on to this like disembodied hand and maybe like looking down toward that hand, and off along the side of that straight path there are like all of these like convoluted paths, portals, staircases, tree roots with like faces enticing you in, and maybe there are some like other human body parts sticking out of those places. And I kind of like, I don't know if this is possible to create with the card, but I kind of see those parts as like just slightly like rotating, kind of like, you know, when you're like having like little visual experiences and things are just kind of like breathing and like twisting and moving. Yeah, that's what I see. And maybe there's some areas that are like really dark and scary looking and others that are like really beautiful and magical and whatever.
Yeah.
Would you add anything to that?
I feel like my version's a little less rich in the imagery of the other places, but I don't think that it has to be... I think it's just like, I'm thinking a little flatter in terms of like just the visual style of it, I guess. But I think it could still have like these different characteristics to it. As you were describing. And to me, I think it's like meaningful for, you know, not only for there to be a hand held, but also that the, you know, the main character to be chopped up in a way. Right? So like all you get left, like you get, the character is like a torso, one leg, half of another leg, like a hand holding a hand that is like disconnected, and then like a part of an arm that's missing, and like maybe a chunk of a shoulder missing. And like, you know, these aren't, you know, it's not grotesque kind of thing. It's just like, you know, carved off and then just like red, you know, like something like simple and like in the separation of it. And then in all of these other scenes, their body parts appear. And they appear maybe alongside other characters that look like them. Or the rest of the hand. Or the body that's connected to the hand is like somewhere else. And like, and then like, you know, the legs are like upside down, like coming from the ceiling, and like, you know, they're all just like, you know, all these pointing in those different perspectives.
Yeah, like it would be really cool if it was clear that the main character's body parts are in other areas of the landscape. And
then I see like the mirage at the horizon. Like I imagine it kind of hazier, right? Whereas everything else like is closer. It's like, you know, defined lines. But the one at the end is hazy. The lines are less clear. It's like just color, no hard lines. And it's almost like if you see the path narrowing towards the horizon to like a pinprick or whatever it is that like kind of ends the path. Like the character is there, but not at like the scale of the perspective shift. It's like larger than it should be. It's like larger than what it would be if you were actually there. If this character actually showed up to that spot, like this would be a giant, like this would be Burning Man size, like figure,
idealized version.
Maybe standing over like a hole at the end of the path, or the path just goes like into a flat horizon or something like that. But like the ending, like that place should be like even less rendered in a way, right? Like so the horizon, in contrast to the richness, the detail of like the Escher forest, like the horizon is just like the flat line, sky, figure.
Like a Gaussian blur on the person. I like that. What are we going to call the card? The only rules that it has to start with the.
It has to start with the.
The.
Couple options that I'm just kind of like, you know, that come to mind. And from the conversation that we're having too, I think of like the reality. It's fun because like the reality, if we're suggesting that the reality is actually like all of your pieces going into like this like weird, you know, trippy scene, like that, you know, and then the completeness at the end of it is not the actual reality. I think that's fun to me. I think about like the completion. Where is the completeness? Is it bringing all your like, you know, real parts back together, or is it like the end of the road?
I was also thinking the parts in the similar vein of thought, where like, where are your parts?
or the whole even.
Yeah, I was thinking like the heart,
Mhm.
which is our main character, or I guess this doesn't start with the, but perception,
The vision,
the vision.
the paths.
I like the reality.
Reality is good.
I'm looking for something. I mean, the reality I think is a good one.
Yeah.
I'm looking for like something that that can refer to both, you know, or like the idea of like
The dialectic.
yeah, so like the idea that like you know you could be going towards this or all of that. Hearing the word like the crossroad, you know, because it's like because the path is straight, but it's like the cross is there. Like, somehow.
I like that. How do we feel about the crossroads?
I like it. I'm hesitating a little bit because I feel like it could also, not that this would be a bad thing, but I think it could be taken as like a literal message of like you have two choices and you need to choose between them, and one is better than the other, or like maybe not better than the other, but like I think like there is a strong sense of like choice in this card around like the decision you're making around your perception, but I'm not sure if that's the like most emphasized. Is it?
Well, I also think like there's a fun wordplay in it because the road is being crossed in this way. But like it could be like the trailhead or the divergence, the collection.
Like there's a word I'm trying to find, but I don't know.
We'll know when we get to the right one. I think that's been my experience. The intersection.
Intersection's fun because like there's all the sections of the body. The body is being sectioned.
I feel like the crossroad or crossroads.
I wonder if there is. Does it have to be one word? Maybe there's another word that could go on it, but maybe I'm just delaying a decision to not have to.
No, I mean it does feel to me like there might be like a way to make it slightly better, but like I don't know if I know what that is. The surreality.
Another direction about like you know navigation could be the map.
The map.
Like one version of the map is like how do I get to the mirage, and another version of the map is like seeing like all of the these other places like laid out.
I like that one.
I could also see something like the next step.
Yeah, I think speaking to the journey somehow, right?
Yeah.
The idea of like movement and navigation seems like a good direction.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of like a more like body-based word for like a map or like a system of something.
I mean, that makes me think about like the way that you know when you like have a diagram of a bunch of like nerve pathways.
Yeah.
Like it looks like a map somehow.
Totally. Yeah, it looks like rivers and.
What are body words? Vessels.
Yeah, something like maybe like footsteps or.
What are the stones called in a river?
Stepping stones?
Stepping stone.
There's no stones in this image. I mean, that's okay.
Yeah, that's
true.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
The sense of self.
I mean, it does speak a lot to the senses.
Right. Yeah. Looking for body words.
Because I almost think like the sensational.
The corpus.
Yeah, almost like the self feels relevant to me.
The divided self. Split self.
I feel like even like just the self. Because I see this like as such a. I mean, the experience of this happens like in relationship all the time, but like the choice of it is like such an inner experience of the self.
You said the only rule is that starts with themselves.
Themselves.
It could be the selves. Or the parts of themselves. Or like there is a card in here that's like the half of her. So it could be something along those lines.
I like the selves. Like there's something about that that's like it's confusing.
Yeah.
You know, it's
like
you never say the selves.
There are multiple.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are multiple.
I like that too.
Yeah.
So.
Does that feel good to you?
Yes.
The selves? I like it. Cool. We have the selves. We have a card. I think we have a card.
We have a card.
Cards.
Wow.
Congratulations. Thank you so much for doing this with me. I really appreciate it.
Really interesting ideas behind that. Yeah. I feel like I'm high.
I know, right?
I know. I was just going to say, I feel like I'm in an altered state right now. This is amazing. Yeah, this has been so delightful.
Well, I'm so glad that you had a good time. I had a great time too. Thank you so much. And that brings us to the end of our show. A huge thanks to our wonderful guests. Thanks for joining us. And remember that magic is creation, and creation is magic. Take care.
Outro music.
Well, that's going in the end. That's in the after credits for sure.
Sponsored by. Many world.
That's gonna be the stinger of this Many World podcast. Many worlds.